Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pokémon GO 2024 award show. I am super excited to be bringing this to you. This year we've had amazing events, Pokémon releases, feature releases, and today we're recapping it all, giving out the awards to the best of the best and the worst of the worst. By the way, I'm wearing these glasses. I'm not blind. They're blue light glasses and I want to look more official. Let's hop right into the first category though. The first award is going to go to the best new feature of the year. Now we've had amazing new features coming out this year. We've had the See Your Friends List at a Raid feature. Mighty Pokemon have been released. Visual background changes, changing the visual background. Safari Balls were released. The Adventure Effects were also debuted this year. The Revive All feature was debuted. The Ready Up as a solo player in a raid was debuted. Triggering items back to back was also featured. Overall, as you can see, plenty of great features have been released this year, but which one is going to take the cake as the best feature and win our first Pokémon GO award? Drum roll, please. Adventure Effects. Adventure Effects, in my opinion, have changed the way Pokémon GO is played, and although all these other features are great, I do think Adventure Effects are the biggest game-changing feature, and I definitely do think deserve the reward as the best feature of 2024, and hopefully we get plenty of new Adventure Effects in 2025. However, with good features come terrible ones as well. So what was the worst feature released this year in Pokémon GO in 2024? Well, our nominees for this category are, of course, the Avatar update, which everybody hated. They revamped the AR mode as well, which killed AR quick catch technique, not allowing you to quick catch in AR mode anymore. The Biomes update, and finally, Dynamax and Gigantamax bosses. Honestly, I will say this. You know, for worse features, we've had worse released. So this year, we didn't really get a lot of L features. But the winner for the worst new feature released this year, drumroll please, the Avatar update. You can't deny it, the Avatar update was probably the worst thing that came to Pokemon GO this year, absolutely destroying all of our avatars, and if we could take it back, I'm sure everybody would want to. Let's move on to some Pokemon though. Plenty of new Pokemon were released this year, some good, some bad. But let me just tell you, on the good side, a lot more than the bad side. So which one was the most impactful meta-changing Pokemon that was released? Our nominees for this category include Duskmane Necrozma, Dawnwings Necrozma, Annihilate, Origin Dialga, Origin Palkia, Mega Lucario, Galarian Corsola, and Enamorus. Yeah, like just listing that list, those are all top meta Pokemon, top in their categories. Which one was the biggest game-changing one? In my opinion, it's gotta be Dawnwings Necrozma. Obviously, Duskmane and Dawnwings Necrozma are both two very, very strong Pokemon, but Dawnwings Necrozma became one of the best Master League Pokemon there is. It became the best Ghost-type attacker, and it also became just an amazing attacker overall. If you look at top counters list, you will see Dawnwings Necrozma in there even when it's doing neutral damage. I will say though, this category was kind of hard to commit to because, you know, we also have Pokemon like Origin Palkia, which were very, very strong as well in their categories and came with adventure effects. But just looking at the Pokemon itself, not including any gimmicks it comes with, I'm gonna give it to Dawnwings. Let me know if you agree or not, or you would give it to a different Pokemon. Not everything was good in terms of the Pokemon side this year. We saw plenty of Pokemon that used to be super impactful completely fall off. So in this category, we're gonna be talking about the biggest PvP nerf that happened this year. The biggest fall off, let's take a look at our nominees. We have Medicham, Noctowl, Skarmory, Victreebel, and Gligar, all as nominees for the biggest PvP nerf we saw this season. And the winner of this category is going to be, drumroll please, Medicham. Obviously, Medicham was the king, and you saw it on every single PvP team before the counter nerf. But unfortunately, the PvP nerf happened this year, the counter nerf specifically, and Medicham is nowhere to be seen. This was probably one of the biggest heroes to zero drop-offs we've ever seen. Medicham, of course, could come back to the meta pretty much with any sort of buff to counter, but for now, it has fallen off, and it will forever remain in the graves of 2024. With Pokemon falling off, we also have Pokemon coming into the scene. So what was our biggest PvP buff of the season in terms of a Pokemon that wasn't very good before, but definitely got good with a move update? The nominees for this category include Rollout Bibarel, Karate Chop Pangoro, Rollout Lickitung, Thunder Punch Typhlosion, Swift Clefable, Psycho Cut Gallade, and Shadow Claw Feraligatr. And the winner for this category is going to be, drumroll please, Yeah, Shadow Claw Feraligatr. This thing is on every single team. This thing is a meta threat in the Great League, Ultra League, and Master Premier Cup, and is one of the most used Pokemon in PvP ever since it's been buffed. Shadow Claw for Alligator, definitely gonna take the #1 spot. Although I will say, a lot of great PvP buffs this season, a lot of different Pokemon got better, and I'm excited to see the future of the Pokemon Go PvP scene and what Pokemon get nerfed and buffed. Okay, I'm sure you guys are wondering it. Big events. Obviously, every single year, we get 2 big events. However, 2024 has introduced a 3rd one. So in this category, we're gonna be talking about what was the best major event of the year. Now, we're only gonna be talking about the global events because not everybody had gone to any of the in-person events. So the nominees for this category include the Sinnoh Tour Global, the Go Fest Global, of course, and the Wild Area Global event. Honestly, all of these events were great, but which one is going to take the cake as the winner? Drum roll, please. I'm gonna give it to the Wild Area event. Yes, a new one in the game, obviously a completely new event, but I'm gonna say just for the fact that we got Mighty Pokemon and Safari Balls, I think the Wild Area event was the most fun I had at a global event this year. Sinnoh Tour was great. Go Fest was great. I'm not trying to put any damper on how good those events were, but I definitely did enjoy the Wild event and I hope to see it more in the future. Overall, I think we should just all be celebrating how good the global events were this year because they were a lot of fun and I'm excited to see what we get in 2025. But major events are not the only events we end up getting. We also have other events that happened this year. So let's go through what is going to be the best other category event of the year. And our nominees for this include the Shadow Raid weekend for Mewtwo in March, an excellent opportunity, the April Fool's event where every throw is an excellent throw, the Galarian Expedition event which had the release of shiny Galarian birds, Mega Lucario Raid Day, the Raging Battles event which released Annihilate, the Taken Treasures event which released Shadow Kyogre, the World of Wonders takeover with released Shadow Groudon, Inbound from Ultra Space event where we had a bunch of Ultra Beasts available for completely free, the Ultra Unlock Strength of Steel where we had a bunch of different Steel Pokemon appearing in the wild, the Lunar New Year Dragons Unleashed event where we had a bunch of Dragon type Pokemon spawning in the wild, the Halloween event Part 1, the 2024 Championship event, and the Into the Wild event, the event leading up to the Wild Area event. Yeah, man, a lot of great events this year, but it leaves the question, which one really was the best of the year? And overall, I'm gonna give it to the Galarian Expedition event. I think the release of shiny Galarian birds was something everybody expected this year and everyone was super excited for, along with the release of shiny Zamazenta in this event. Overall, we had like a bunch of legendary shinies get released during that event, and just for the fact that shiny Galarian birds got released and everyone was super excited about that, I think that event takes the cake. Obviously, other events are very good and I want to hear from you guys what you think was the best other event of the year. Let me know in the comment section below. But if you want to take a look at other events that happened this year, we can also talk about community days. Yes, of course, every single year we get 12 community days and a couple community day classics. So overall, what was the best community day of the year? And yes, we are including classics in our list. The nominees for this year include Beldum Community Day Classic, Gumi Community Day, Poplio Community Day, Bagon Community Day Classic, Rowlet Community Day, and Litten Community Day. Yeah, just from that list of nominees, we had some insane com days. Overall though, what is going to be the best community day of the year? In my opinion, I'm gonna give a 3-way tie for Beldum, Gumi, and Bagon. Yes, you know, it's so hard to choose what is the best community day because each of them have their own rights, but I do think these 3 pseudo-legendary community days we did get this year, all of them have great shinies, all of them are meta-relevant, and I would play all 3 over and over again if I could. Now, something I'm not a huge fan of, but I know a lot of you guys are, is costume Pokemon. So in the next category, we're gonna be talking about the best costume Pokemon that was released in 2024. Personally, again, I don't really care for costume Pokemon, but I will say we actually did get some decent costumes, with our nominees for this year being the Punk Vest Snorlax, the Winter Dedenne, the Scuba Pikachu, Captain's Hat Pikachu, PhD Pikachu, and the Hat Froakie. So yeah, a lot of great costumes, specifically a lot of Pikachus because they love to do that. But what is going to be the best costume of the year? Drum roll, please. We're gonna have to go ahead and give it to the Punk Vest Snorlax. This is just a great costume overall. It's a funny costume, it's a cool looking costume, and I'm kind of just done with the Pikachu costumes. I know we got a lot of cool Pikachus this year, but I do think the Punk Vest Snorlax takes the cake. And it's not like it's a lazy done costume. It's a pretty cool little punk vest, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were hunting it at the Wild Area event. Okay, now Niantic is known to mess up, and every year they have a long list of things they mess up. So in this category, we're going to be talking about the biggest mess up that Niantic did this year. The nominees for this year include when there was no special backgrounds from doing remote raids on day 1 of Global Go Fest. We also had an issue when Mega Rayquaza didn't even end up appearing during its announced Elite Raid Day. Day. We had Mega Lucario Raid Day where people were getting no bonuses. We had PhD Pikachus being encountered and everybody was getting the exact same IVs. There was no unique IV spread. We had the moment when Fleece King's account got hacked and Niantic gave away Fleece King's password to somebody. We had players getting banned from battling Team Go Rocket during the Taken Over event. We had when they forgot to turn on Shiny Tornadus, and we had the accidental release of Shiny Nimble. Yeah, so Niantic definitely messed up this year, and some of these are big whoopsies, but which one takes the cake as the biggest Niantic mess up of this year? Well, I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to players getting banned for doing too many Team Go Rocket. In my opinion, you know, a whoopsie is a whoopsie, but when it actually ends up banning players, that's when it becomes a problem, and I think that is when it's really, really bad. Now, everybody loves shiny Pokemon, so I want to talk about what was the best shiny Pokemon release this year, and this is probably the category I am most excited for. We had so many great shinies, with the nominees including the shiny Galarian Birds, shiny Zacian, shiny Larvesta, shiny Xurkitree, shiny Sandygast, shiny Jangmo-o, shiny Unknown Question Mark, shiny Litten and its lineup, as well as shiny Shaman. Yeah, like that's insane amounts of great shinies. But the question is, what was the best one of the year? Drum roll please, and I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to the shiny Galarian Birds again. Now, if I had to choose between any of the 3 shiny Galarian Birds, I don't think I could. They're all amazing, really, really nice shinies, but I do think the shiny Galarian Birds were probably the best shiny release of the year. A lot of these shinies are super nice, but I just love the way the shiny Galarian Birds look. I love how rare they are as well. It's very rare nowadays that we have a shiny that's like really, really hard to get. So overall, the Galarian Birds are gonna take the win as the best shiny release. But there's also some shinies that got released this year that are bad. They're bad. So for the worst shiny release of 2024, the nominees include shiny Swaddle, shiny Tynamo, shiny Komala, shiny Flabebe, and shiny Cutiefly. You know, it's not even hard to choose this one. The worst shiny release of the year, drumroll please, is going to go to shiny Tynamo. This shiny, when I got announced that this was going to be a community day this year, I looked at the shiny, I was like, is that even a shiny Pokemon? Shiny Tynamo looks exactly like regular Tynamo. It does not look special at all and is a terrible shiny. Like, obviously it has to get released at some point. I'm glad we just got it out of the way because that is a bad shiny. Moving on to our second last category though, let's talk about leader rotations. We had 4 leader rotations having different shiny Shadow Pokemon available throughout this year. That included, in January, Shadow Tentacle, Shadow Bagon, and Shadow Zubat. In March, Shadow Machop, Shadow Trapinch, and Shadow Cacnea. In August, Shadow Lileep, Shadow Carvanha, and Shadow Anorith. And then finally in October, Shadow Beldum, Shadow Zigzagoon, and Shadow Ralt. So what was the best leader lineup we got this year in terms of shiny Shadow Pokemon? And the winner of this category is going to go to the October lineup of Shadow Beldum, Zigzagoon, and Ralts. These are 3 banging Shadow Shiny Pokemon. They are all very, very nice. One of them being a super cool new one as well, and them being very meta relevant. Overall, you cannot really get better than a lineup like this, and it's very rare that we get lineups like this, so that's easily gonna take the cake as the best Shadow leader rotation. But that finally leads us into our final category, which is going to be the category of a new feature we got this year, Adventure Effects. What was the best Adventure Effect that was dropped this year? Obviously, Adventure Effects, a completely new feature this year, and we ended up getting the Adventure Effect of Roar of Time, which will freeze your premium items, Spatial Rend, which will go ahead and double your spawn distance, Sunseal Strike, which will attract different sun-themed Pokemon off your incense, and Moongeist Beam, which will attract different night-themed Pokemon off your incense. What is the best Adventure Effect of the year? Which one is going to take the cake for this award? Well, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it to Spatial Rend. Now, this one might be debatable in some people's conditions, but I, in my opinion, think Spatial Rend is a game changer and one of the biggest changes we got this year to Pokemon Go, allowing you to see more spawns, catch more Pokemon, and just have a better time playing Pokemon Go. Roar of Time is really, really cool as well, especially being able to freeze your premium items, but I do think it's more on the gimmicky side and less on the efficiency side. So I'm gonna have to give it to Spatial Rend as the winner for that category. Guys, what do you think about these awards, these categories? Which ones do you think should have won? And watch the video below. If you enjoyed this one, you'll enjoy that one as well. I can't wait to see you guys in 2025, see what Pokemon Go brings in the next year, because if it's anything like 2024, we should be in for a good year. Follow our tips. Peace.